why do you have to create countries based on religion? So if you create a country based on religion and then claim that it is democracy, is it really democracy? Isn't it theocracy? So if you create a country by the name of a family like Saudi Arabia, then what do you expect? If you create a country based on Judaism or on so-called Jewish values, what do you expect? Obviously, you are inviting trouble. You can't call that democracy anymore in the real sense. United States of America is the leader of the free world. So it should support countries which uphold democracy, equal rights, freedom, human dignity. So creating Israel, does it go along with American values? Does it go along with European values? Do we see equal rights of people of all religions in Israel, when the country was founded based on Jewish laws? Why can't we have a Palestine? A Palestine for everybody, where no particular religion should have an upper hand. If the West claims that Israel is the only democracy in that region, but my question remains, is it really a democracy? The name Israel itself means struggle with God. So you're bringing God into it. Jewish God, Elohim. Yisri and El together comes as Israel. That reminds me of the chapter Hosea of the Hebrew Bible, where you find this word, Israel. So what if you name rest of the Palestine as jihad? Because jihad has almost the same meaning. Struggle for the cause of God, struggle with God, etc. So the proper name should have been, half is Israel, half is jihad land, right? Then, we would have said that one is Muslim, other one is Jewish. But before 1948, even according to the words of Goldie Meir, one of the previous Prime Minister of Israel, who once in an interview said that she used to carry Palestinian passports. So why can't we have a Palestine where we should see people living with equal rights, everybody, Muslim, Christian, Jew, whatever. But you have to create a land for Jewish people, particularly. You have to create a land for Muslim people, particularly. If creating a particular Jewish land confirms safety and security of the Jewish community, then you are not encouraging democracy, where even the majority should ensure the security of the minority. Shouldn't you encourage that sort of democracy? Like in the United States, people of the Jewish community probably, they feel safest in the world. In New York, they feel safest in the world. That doesn't mean that United States of America had to be founded on the values of Judaism. So the struggle should have been to establish a country where, regardless of which community is in majority, they would still try to ensure equality for all. So the founding reasons of Israel was problematic from the beginning. Rather, United Nations and the world, even the United States, should have encouraged a country based on democracy and equal rights. If you want to talk about suffering, Jews suffered atrocities in Europe far more than suffered anywhere else. In Spanish Inquisition, Jews suffered immensely, and they were rather sheltered by the Muslims in Istanbul, in Alexandria, and in Ottoman Greece. You can say, they also suffered some sort of discrimination there, but still, even if that was not heaven, still that was far better than what Jews had to face in Europe. So, to ensure peace and security, you can't say that the Muslims in the region could not be trusted with the Jews. That's why you had to create a particular Jewish land. For that reason. Doesn't stand logic, does it? As the leader of the free world, United States of America should, along with the allies, must stand for equality, justice, everywhere in the world. And United States of America and the allies must not support any policy which discriminates the minorities. So, I'm happy that in my country where I was born, Bangladesh, United States of America is trying to support democratic movement there, trying to support a free and fair election there. But at the same time, why do we see United States of America supporting apartheid in Israel or supporting theocracy in Saudi Arabia or Israel or Qatar or other countries? How do you justify that? Because the policies of those countries based on majority religion definitely creates discrimination. There's a sort of intellectual apartheid. And also we can see whether we have to admit it on mainstream media or not, there are discriminatory policies in those countries based on majority religion. So why should United States of America, where everybody, every individual enjoys similar and equal rights with anyone belonging to a majority community, but at the same time we see different approach by United States of America and the allies when it comes to their foreign policy? Why? Why shouldn't there be a uniform policy that if you are running your country based on democracy, as you claim, you must ensure equal rights for all? We don't see that in effect, do we? So that is hypocrisy. You might ask me whether I support partition of India based on religious lines, or whether that was necessary. Yeah, it was probably justifiable at the time, because there were many religious groups, religious political groups, which were propping up in that part of the world, and eventually we were seeing riots and fights, and many people were getting killed for their religious affiliations and for belonging to particular political parties which were based on religion and all that. But eventually, two things happened. First of all, Muslims in Pakistan and in Bangladesh, it was like East and West Pakistan at the time after 1947 partition, they felt safer, and Muslims in mainland India, they became more vulnerable. And now we are seeing struggle of Muslims in Hindu majority India, where Hindu is leaning towards more of Hindu fanaticism with the rise of BJP and RS and all that. And we are also seeing tension along Pakistan and Indian border all the time. We are also seeing oppressive foreign policy or domineering foreign policy adopted by India against other neighbors, small neighbors like Bangladesh. So we are never at peace with the neighbors since the partition. And on the other hand, Muslims in Bangladesh have progressed more than the Muslims in neighboring West Bengal of India under Hindu dominance. So you can say that worked. But what about Pakistan? Pakistan was the strongest economy for a long time until it became more of an Islamic country. The more Islamic it became, since especially since Ziaul Haq's time, and since invasion of Soviet Union of Afghanistan, and things got worse. So when it comes to the founding cause of a country, and if the founding cause is based on religion, it usually leans towards fascism, religious fascism. The end result is not good. You can say India was founded on secularism. Now how come they are heading towards fanaticism? It's because of the partition reasons. That's what it is. And I'm pretty sure that there will come a time when we'll be united again. But to head to that, democratic practice and secularism needs to flourish in those countries first. That's why I say that even Palestine, even in Israel, even if you start with Israel, and encourage secularism there and democracy, real democracy there, and the same thing we encourage in other neighboring countries, and if the neighboring countries see more democracy, less theocracy, there will be a pressure on Palestinians as well. So this will eventually pave the way for reconciliation. So it needs to start with Israel first, because it's the more powerful country of the two, Palestine and whatever you have left of Palestine and Israel. That's what I think.